Hey guys, welcome to the channel. Before we get started with Koi Chat Part 3, if you'll notice, right there, on top of the aquarium, I have a glass. There's a little piece of tubing. As I had mentioned in Koi Chat Part 2, that watching your fish was very important. That your fish were going to tell you when something was wrong with your water parameters. So they've been acting a little agitated this morning when I was watching them. I mean, they're active. You can see they're active, but they're agitated. They seem highly irritated. So, like I've told you guys, when your fish start acting weird, test your parameters. So I tested the parameters. 0 KH. What happens when the KH is non-existent? You don't have a buffer for a pH crash. You guessed it. pH was about 6.5, so acidic. Not a good thing. Not a good thing at all. So I have a BS drip going up there on top. Test it again tomorrow, see what we're sitting at, and I'll do another BS drip tomorrow if I have to. Baking soda BS. The other aquarium seems to be doing just fine. The fish seem to be fine, not acting weird. Haven't tested that one yet, but when I ran into this, it gave me the motivation to go ahead and do part 3 Koi Chat. So here we go. Got some notes, so I try to remember to hit most of the important stuff. Here's the biggest thing I want you to take away from this episode. There is a huge difference between raising koi for just the hobby, to have fish in a garden, and show level koi. I like to think I'm somewhere in the middle. I don't intend on putting my fish in any shows anytime, but I want them to be vibrant, healthy, active fish. Healthy. So, the first thing we're going to discuss is what's bad for the water and what's good for the water. So, bad things for your water are ammonia, nitrite, and nitrate, the big three, which we've always talked about. Your phosphates, high phosphates, can make your water susceptible to algae blooms. Algae blooms are unsightly, and algae blooms will affect the parameters of your water. They will mess with your pH. The oxygen obviously becomes an issue at nighttime, because at night the plants aren't processing the sunlight, absorbing your nitrate, putting off oxygen. At nighttime, they actually start putting off carbon dioxide, which you don't want. So keeping your algae blooms in check, you always want your phosphates as low as possible. Other bad things for a pond would be rainwater. Typically, rain is acidic, which is going to bring your pH down, making your water more acidic. So if you were to have torrential downpours for a couple days and nothing to cover your pond, all of that acidic water is getting there. It's going to use your KH, it's going to lower your pH. Good things that you want in your water: your calcium, your magnesium, KH. Again, as we discussed in the other video, you want it between 100 and 200. You don't want it much lower than that. Mine naturally sits around 90. In the pond, it works. It's okay. Obviously here, I ran into a bit of an issue with the low KH. Smaller area. Your dissolved oxygen. Your dissolved oxygen is very important as well. Now, your max level is 18 parts per million. That's all water can absorb of oxygen. If you have proper aeration and you have proper filtration and water moving, If you're turning over your water, that means you're cycling your water at least 1.5 times to 2 times an hour. You should be fine, unless there's something in your pond that's using up oxygen that shouldn't be. Your GH is your general hardness. Obviously depends on what your source water is. Your general hardness may be low, it may be high. Again, general hardness is one of these that if you're looking for show quality fish, you really want to pay attention to. But if you're looking for hobby level, keeping in that 60 to 100 range is fine. Your general hardness typically comes from calcium and magnesium in the water. So softened water typically takes out your calcium and your magnesium. You'll see calcium deposits on your faucets and stuff in your house when you have hard water. Soft water takes all that out, so you don't get that white crusty calcium deposits all over everything. The one most important thing that you have to remember about your KH is, I would recommend, little side note, I would recommend researching KH as much as you can, because it acts as a buffer. Research buffers on what that means chemically, chemistry wise, what buffers mean. KH buffers your pH, which prevents it from falling below a certain point. No KH, my pH fell below where it should be, around that 7 to 8 mark. 7.2 to 7.8 to be precise, but 7 to 8 you can get by with. You don't want 6.5 to 6 like I have right now. The funny thing is, since I've started the drip, the fish are already seeming a little more relaxed. Maybe they just missed me and like the fact I'm sitting here. I don't know, but they're already within minutes seeming more relaxed. They were down and like I said, agitated, nipping at each other, flashing around. They were just not acting normal. So pH is another very important one, and this is why. So again, we have KH working with pH, and pH is important because of this. If you have high pH, anything above 7.5, 7.6, your ammonia becomes more toxic to the fish. So you could have high ammonia with low pH, and your ammonia isn't as toxic as if you had an 8 pH with the same level of ammonia. So high pH is good for your filters and helping get your filters going, but only if your ammonia is in check. If your ammonia is not in check and you're running high pH, you just don't want high pH if you have high ammonia. It's vice versa, for lack of a better term. Nitrite is also, to an extent, more toxic with higher pH. Okay? I'm sorry, let me rephrase that. See, it's vice versa, like I was talking about. Got a little confused there. Nitrite is less toxic with higher pH. Ammonia is more toxic with higher pH. So, that's what I'm saying. It's vice versa. And that's why it's important to keep an eye on your KH and your pH, because it does play into all of these other things. This is the stuff I'm covering, still the basic stuff that you want to know for the koi hobby. If you decide that you're going to need advanced level fish you want show quality fish, you want to dip farther into the chemistry of water and ammonia and nitrite and how all those things work together. Another thing that is important, but nothing that's going to be life-changing unless it's in extreme situations, is the temperature of your water. Obviously, as we get colder, the temperature of our water is going to cool down. Cooler water will hold more oxygen. Cooler water slows down the fish's metabolism, so they're not producing as much waste. So, the exact opposite is true with higher water temperatures. So when you get into the summertime, it is very important to keep an eye on your temperature. When your water starts to get over 72 to 75 degrees, obviously you can't air condition the water. Obviously it's pointless to sit there and do a water change every day to try to keep your water temperature low. Things you can do: shade the water, keep some of the sun off it. As you've seen in my other videos, I have a roof. That helps tremendously. Plants, but again, if you're looking for a garden style pond, yes, have plants. If you're looking to raise show level koi, plants are really not necessary, and most people would say you shouldn't have plants in a koi pond. They mess with them. They can brush up against the pots, hurt themselves. They make the pond water itself messier, more stuff to decompose, etc., etc. So in the summertime, when your water temperature spikes, water is unable to hold as much oxygen. It also becomes more susceptible to ammonia spikes. Your nitrite and nitrate obviously go hand in hand with that. And as we've talked about, the lower your oxygen levels in your water, because your oxygen helps limit, break down, process your ammonia and your nitrate. The last thing I want to touch on, and again, as I've said a couple other times, salt does have its place. Now, this is not table salt. This is not sodium chloride. This is calcium chloride. You can usually find it at your local Farm and Fleet hardware store. It's softener salt for the most part. But again, I can go through all the different kinds. Google it. It'll save you time. It does have its place. From most of the research I have done, a constant presence of salt within your pond is not necessary. If there's a shocking event for the fish, something bad happened, salt helps reduce their stress. Salt, as we've talked about, also helps bind nitrite. So it does have its place, but on the hobby level, mid-level koi keeping, it's something you don't have to constantly worry about. So other than that, guys, I really don't have anything else to go off that. And again, the information I'm giving is for hobby level, mid-level stuff. If you are looking to be an expert koi raiser with show quality koi, I probably won't have very much information for you on that. Backyard garden pond and you like some koi, I should be able to help with most things. So again, I don't really have much else to go on this. I do want to thank everybody for watching. I want to thank everybody that has subscribed. The next video I do will probably be a Koi Chat Part 4. As again, I was trying to think of ideas to do videos over the winter because things slow down. So the aquariums became one thing, and then the Koi Chat. So like I said, I'm going to try to keep doing videos over the weekends and try to get one up a week. And if you guys have any ideas on anything you'd like to see, please let me know. Any questions on any of the videos, feel free to ask. And if you haven't liked already, please like the video. If you haven't subscribed, please do the same. And again, that's all I got for this one, guys. We'll see you on the next video. Remember, keep on investing, keep on improving. We'll talk to you later, guys.